In this tutorial, we'll show you how to create a dialogue with two characters similar to the style found in many games. We'll set up the conversation and use actions to add animation and other effects into the sequence. The Story Machine project that we will be using for this tutorial is something you can access too. You can find the link to the project in the description below. We'll be using the tutorial scene as a starting point. Let's get started. Let's start by making two text boxes. One for character names and the other one for the main dialogue. To create a text box, we'll click on the text insertion tool, then click and drag on the screen. Let's rename the text boxes to easily identify them. Next, we need to create an empty game object to manage our dialogue flow. This game object will act as a container for all the dialogue-related components and actions. Go to the Add menu and select Empty Game Object. Rename this new game object to, let's say, Dialogue Controller. This makes it easier to identify in the hierarchy. This Dialogue Controller game object will hold the dialogue text and all the actions we'll control during the dialogue. OK. Select the Dialogue Controller game object in the hierarchy. Click on Add menu, then find Dialogue Flow and select it. This component handles the main elements of the dialogue, displaying the dialogue text in the designated text box, moving from one statement to the next. To drive the dialogue flow component, we need to specify a text file that contains the dialogue itself. If you'd like to follow along, you can check out the text we're using that's linked in the description below. Or you can write your own dialogue by simply creating a text file with your script. The format of this file is simple. If you look at the script, you'll see we have dialogue but no indication of who is speaking. For now, all you need to know is that we're going to specify the speaker with their name in brackets and then put their dialogue directly below their name. As the conversation progresses from the top of the file to the bottom, it will alternate between speakers. Here is a valuable tip. To improve readability and make the dialogue more dynamic, let's use the letter P in angle brackets to create page breaks. Page breaks enhance the readability of the dialogue by separating long lines of text into more manageable chunks. This makes the dialogue easier to follow and adds a dynamic element to the conversation flow. Save this text file and move it to your project folder. Now let's connect our text file to the dialogue flow component and set up the text box where the dialogue will appear. In the Dialogue Controller component, locate the Dialogue text box. Drag and drop our prepared text file from the project panel into this Dialogue text box. This links your script to the Dialogue Flow component. And whether you use the provided script or your own creation, this step remains the same. Next, we need to specify where the dialogue text will be displayed. In the Dialogue Flow component, find the Target Text Box field. We'll drag and drop the text box created earlier for the main dialogue into this field. Now, let's test our initial setup to ensure everything is connected properly. We'll click on Run and then Play. And nothing. No need to worry, there's actually one more step we need to do. We need to add an action library to handle dialogue actions. Let's do that from the Add menu. This library lets us create action sequences that will be triggered during the dialogue by specific keywords. To add a new command, click the plus sign in the Action Library component. Let's name our actions after the characters in our scene. For our script, that's Alex and Mia. We want these actions to be triggered whenever each of the characters speaks. To do that, we need to set up triggers in the dialog text file. So let's open the dialog text file, and we'll insert the character names in brackets before each line of their speech. These brackets will trigger the corresponding actions in the action library. By placing character names in brackets, we ensure the right actions are triggered at the right time. You can see that the script still reads like a film script. By naming our actions after the characters, it makes it clear who is speaking and also gives us a command we can use to highlight the character saying the line. Let's test the dialogue flow to ensure it is working properly now. But first, let's connect our dialogue controller to the action library field. We'll press play. And as you can see, the text is displayed in the text box, but our commands don't do anything yet. Now let's make those commands do something. First of all, let's make sure the speaking character's name appears above the text box. We're going to use our action library to change the displayed name whenever a command is triggered by the dialog. But first, we need to actually put our characters' names into the text database. Click on the name text box and open the text database editor. Now add entries for each character by clicking the plus button. We'll use character 1 and character 2 in the key fields, and on the text field, let's add out characters' names. If we were to translate this game into another language, the key would stay the same, but the text would change to match the new language. I'm going to just use Alex and Mia. In the action library, let's add a set text action to each of the commands we set up. Select the dialog controller object. Find the action library and click Edit to bring up the action sequences associated with the Alex and Mia commands. Now find Set Text in the Action menu for each and hit the Add Action button. For each of these, we'll drag the name text box to the target text box field. And we'll set the text key to the corresponding character name. For example, Alex for Alex's action, Mia for Mia's action. That means that when the Alex command is fired from the dialog script, this sequence will set the text box's contents to the word Alex. Also, let's not forget to turn off the Type Out Text option for the name text box so that the name is displayed instantly. Okay, let's test everything out one more time. Looking good. So now, the name of the character that is currently speaking changes according to the order of the dialog text. We're almost done. Let's make sure the end of our scene fades out. To do that, let's create an action in the action library called Fade. We'll head back to the action library, add a new command, and open its action sequence. Now let's add a Fade Screen action. We'll set the fade duration to 0.5 so you can see the fade out, but it doesn't take too long. Now, all we have to do is add the FadeMut command at the end of the dialog text to trigger the fade when the conversation has ended. And boom, there we go. We've created a dialog flow with name changes and a fade out at the end. I hope you can see that this basic setup can be easily extended to handle character expression, screen shakes, sound effects, or whatever other kind of logic you might want to execute during a conversation. Thank you for watching.